Hi, everybody, and welcome to the DogCo Secrets podcast. My name is Michelle Kline. I'm your host, and I am also the founder of DogCo Launch, where pet care companies come to grow and scale. I know I say this every time I have a guest, but today's really special episode, and a genuinely special episode, because I have Albany, who is on the DogCo team, here today to talk about a little bit of the behind the scenes with the summit, because Albany joined the DogCo team at a very unique time. It was right after I announced the summit and had committed to it. She joined the team and then basically ran the entire summit. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how that experience was. So thank you for joining, Albany. So if you're a DogCo client, you know Albany. She has either helped you with school access, or she has jumped in on a comment or got you a resource. But if someone is not familiar, if they're not in DogCo, would you mind introducing who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, my name is Albany Wilson. I am the operations coordinator for DogCo Launch. I work directly with Michelle. I'm in person. I'm in office in Winston-Salem, and I help organize, coordinate kind of all of the behind the scenes, the systems, constantly working on organizing the systems within DogCo. And also a huge portion of my job is the summit. So from the beginning to the very end and everything in the middle.
When you joined the DogCo team, I remember during your first interview, I was like, we're doing a summit this year. Brand new thing. Can't really give you any details, but it'll be big and it'll cost a lot of money and I will need a lot of help. What were your thoughts or feelings at that point in time?
During my interview?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as a person, both throughout different organizations that I've been involved in, I had attended a good amount of conferences professionally. So, I was like, I've got this. I was like, I could do this. It's kind of vague at the moment, but I feel pretty confident that I could do it. And excitement.
It definitely was exciting. I kind of can't believe the first one is already behind us. I know we're almost at the second one, but it feels like the event went by very quickly, like coming up to it for me.
Yes, the second one is just right around the corner, and it feels like we were just working on the first summit. So it moves quickly, that's for sure.
I'm curious what your experience was at the summit last year, because you had like a very unique view to what was happening. Like you had planned most of it. You had coordinated a lot of it, and also you had like connected with a lot of people coming, but also you don't have a history in the pet care space. So I'm just curious what your thoughts were.
What a weekend.
Yes.
It was so much fun. It was a lot of work, which was expected, but it was a whirlwind weekend. I think I went into it initially a little nervous because, like you said, I didn't really have any background. So a lot of the people that I was interfacing with, I had only ever communicated with, met online, that I had helped through email. So one, just very excited to finally be able to put some faces to some email addresses and to be able to introduce myself and kind of let people get a better idea of what I do. Because I think at the time, most of your clients, or all at the time, all of your clients had only worked with you. You were DogCo. And then all of a sudden, here's this other person. And so I think that for me, that was the most overwhelming in a good way, being able to meet everybody and be able to introduce myself. But it was a lot of work. But I took many naps on the floor in workshop rooms. So I was joking that, like, if y'all can't find me, come look in this room. I'll be on the corner in the floor back here. This year, I've decided I'm bringing a cot. But just like you're there all day working with the venue, Benton, the convention center, which is wonderful, and all the speakers with Colin, the MC, with Daniel, with all of our live streaming people. It was a big people puzzle, and kind of just making sure that all the pieces are in the right spot.
I like that descriptor. It was a people puzzle, because it was like so many moving pieces that had to fit together perfectly. Thankfully, well, not even thankfully, like due to your work, did come together to create this really cool experience. I'm curious your thoughts. So coming into this industry from not pet care, I'm curious what you had hoped people would experience at the summit weekend. Because I know like the education pieces I wanted them to take away, but what did you want them to experience?
Cohesiveness, probably the number one goal of mine. if I were attending an event, I would want to look around and be like, wow, this is all just happening around me and I don't have to do anything. I'm not having to wonder which room I'm supposed to be in and so forth. So a cohesiveness and for everyone to obviously also have fun. For me, it's really important that it shows that the hard work I want it to show. I want people to know that we've put time and effort into this, but I don't mean that in a way that I want people to be like, wow, this must have been really hard. I just want our attendees to walk away from the weekend and say, wow, that was really easy.
Yeah.
I have a similar goal this year. I mean, amongst others, but I want to, I think that we did a good job. I think that is always room for improvement. And, I think we're both taking that into the 2026 summit. But yeah, from my behind the scenes, I want everyone to just feel comfortable, happy to be there and not have to wonder about the event.
I really like that because I know for me at least, there can be a lot of anxiety coming into like a new space with new people. Maybe you've met them online, maybe you haven't. Maybe you're coming in like completely disconnected, not in a bad way, but just like you're looking to connect with others. And I really like the idea of like that should be the only cognitive stress you experience this weekend is getting the courage to do the social piece. But the when and where to be, the kind of inclusive feel of that, this feels really well thought through. I know where I belong. That part has been charted out. I really like that, especially for the type of person that comes to this conference who is already a business owner, already carrying this really heavy mental load. Like I love the idea that this could be a weekend that also includes like some rest and brevity for them.
Absolutely. I mean, a huge portion of my job in DogCo overall is trying to do that for you, having a little bit of that cohesive, like, here, Michelle, these are the things, and then you go with them. I think I kind of carried that over into the summit.
If you're ready to take your pet care business to the next level, then I want you in the room at the DogCo Business Summit, October 2nd through the 4th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We have brought together the very best speakers we could possibly find, and we are getting the best companies in the room to help give you the path to grow and scale your pet care business. Go to dogcosummit.com to learn more. I've told you this, but for the listener, it would have been a very different and much less awesome summit had Albany not been on the DogCo team. And I mean that very, very deeply.
It would have been wonderful nonetheless.
The people would have been wonderful. The experience would have not been cohesive because those are your strengths. Can I tell a funny story about the summit last year? I think you know which one it'll be.
Honestly, I'm not sure. So go right ahead.
Okay, so everybody listening has probably gotten, I hope you've gotten so far, like Albany is a very detailed person. Albany does not drop balls. Like Albany made sure this event, which was a flagship event for DogCo, we came out swinging. We had like 185 people there. There were a lot of different pieces to navigate. 2 days before the event, I'm in Google Drive looking at our summit folder, just kind of checking over things, making sure we're good to go. And I see a spreadsheet that had been created like 34 minutes ago, maybe even the day before, but it was a brand new baby little spreadsheet that was completely blank on the inside. And the title just said, Michelle, please do not kill me. So I had to kind of saunter into your office and be like, what are we looking at? Long story short, we had to kind of migrate where we were tracking tickets into a spreadsheet because we were using another platform that got very confusing at the end of the day. But that is to date one of my funniest and fondest memories of employing you.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I mean, because that spreadsheet still exists and it's still empty right where we left it. And
it's canon now.
No idea what it was exactly what my plans were for it. I think it did have to do with tickets, but yeah, I'm glad that system, we've ironed that out.
I can only speak to my experience of this, and I'm not claiming to have been like fully on it this year. It was a busy year for DogCo. There were some areas we're still planning for the summit, but I think also you and I both have had this collective feeling maybe for the past 6 weeks of like, oh my God, we're really behind. When really I think like last year was just such a heavy lift that this year it's like things have fallen into place a little bit more neatly where it's like, I don't know, we know what to expect working with the AV team. We know how far ahead we need the slides. We know that for the VIP social, we need this vendor, this vendor, this vendor. I've had a lot of like, is this it? Like, could there be more? There is more that we need to do, but I don't know if that's been your experience this summer.
Yeah, yes, I think so. A lot of the pieces, the little pieces that I wouldn't have thought about, or vice versa, that we kind of ironed out last year. I definitely always feel like I'm behind on something. So the summit is just a good thing for me to place that anxiety into. But we are in a really good place, and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be great. The last few weeks while Michelle was out, we've gotten some exciting summit items here at the DogCo house. So I'm looking forward to it. But yes, we are in a good place, tracking forward.
Tracking on our way. One thing that I appreciate about our working styles is you and I never really panic at the same time. I don't know
No.
how it works out, but like we trade off. I think it's because you and I panic on different timelines, but I appreciate that. It makes it easier to carry the burden.
I think that there are different pieces of planning the summit that are stressful to me that are not stressful to you, and vice
Yeah.
versa. So those pieces, where I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do about this? And you're like, oh, that's not a concern. And I'm like, oh, okay. And and then we do it the other way around as well. I think I agree. We are in a good place.
It kind of feels like getting married in a way where it's like, it's going to happen either way. And I think it's going to be great. Like, it's just a big event. All our favorite people are going to be there and we'll do the dang thing.
People are coming.
Yeah. Flights are booked. Hotels are booked.
Right.
What has been the biggest surprise when it comes to planning this event, or just anything about the summit kind of around that arena?
The biggest surprise, this is necessarily a surprise. I think one of the biggest learning curves for me that I wasn't expecting was working with the hotels. Learning how to coordinate with a hotel and a convention center is really interesting. So initially during my interview, when you told me we were going to be, throwing this big party and I was excited, that wasn't something that I had initially thought about. I think it falls into the same category as something that didn't really know much about last year and definitely know more about this year. I think I also underestimated the amount of DogCo member communication that I would be a part of as part of coordinating the summit. We are DogCo, so there's a lot of personal touches, and so I spend a lot more time talking to people that are coming through email about this is going to be a great restaurant for you to go to, or which I know we have all that information on the website, but too I was surprised by, if you've ever been to really big conferences, there isn't a whole lot of that, but there isn't really the ability to have that so much. I've enjoyed getting to interface virtually with a lot of the people that are coming last year and this year. I think that is something that I was not expecting, but that was a pleasant surprise.
I love that. I know holistically over the last year we've talked about that's kind of happened with your role of this kind of drift of people know, like, well, I can just go to Albany for anything I need. And it's like, so you have become kind of this hub of communication inside of DogCo.
Yeah, and I like it. Again, not totally expected. I like that outcome.
We tend to get 3,000 downloads on this podcast a month. I say that to say there are a lot of people listening to this podcast right now who have not made a decision about coming to the summit, whether or not they will, or whether or not they'll participate digitally. I'd love to know your thoughts on what you would say to this person, completely acknowledging that like there's a level of bias here where it's like we're throwing this event, we obviously believe in it, but just what your thoughts would be to that pet care business owner.
As a person that's never worked in the pet care industry other than working for DogCo, I can't speak necessarily specifically about, I'm not going to talk about the business acumen side of it. That's Michelle's job. But something that I've learned that I would have never considered before I started this job was how lonely it can be for pet care business owners. You're not sitting in an office interfacing with people. You are, it's solitary, especially as a business owner. It's harder to connect or have people to connect with. So I think that one thing about the summit that is so incredible is the connection that you're able to make in person with people who are so like-minded and have shared so many similar experiences or the same experiences or almost the same experience. And there was a moment last year where I can't remember if it was you, Michelle, or if it was somebody else, but someone was on stage and someone was speaking and they said, look around the room, like these are your people. And you just, as an adult, I feel like you don't get that kind of opportunity very often to be in a room full of 100 or more people that are your counterparts and to kind of build that, to foster that connection. And so I think that like that would be my pitch for the summit. Obviously, learning, the speakers are incredible. You get to hang out with Colin for a weekend. Who doesn't want that? But as far as like my pitch, it would be that in-person connection and being able to learn alongside people who have a similar goal is priceless.
I love the way you summed that up because I think especially post-pandemic, it really is priceless. Like getting to be in person with people. It's just something that I really took that for granted before the pandemic. And then, we went into a season where we couldn't be in person. So I think that just became so much more valuable after that experience.
I agree.
Not to mention the specificity of who's in the room. Because to your point, I don't know, the pet care industry feels big to me because I've been in it now for a decade, but it's this weird little conglomerate niche, not conglomerate, niche. It's just this very unique little subsect of the world. It's just really special. I'm biased, but to be around people who know what it's like to have to rush a dog to the ER, or know what it's like to have somebody quit right before a shift and what that means very specifically for your day. To your point, I think that's just really, really valuable.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you most excited about for the 2026 conference?
I am excited for the VIP social. Sorry, that took
I think you'd talk about that.
I'm excited for the VIP social. That's always great.
Well, this year it's also really extra special, if you want to share.
It is very extra special. We are, we're hosting it in a different location than we did last year. We're going to have the whole space. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure exactly what you want me to.
Oh, no, you can disclose. So maybe let me tell people what the VIP social is. The location is specific this year and very special. It's a brewery that Albany really loves. I do as well. So the VIP social is a special event Friday night for people who are actively enrolled in DogCo. So if you're a DogCo client listening, you need to come. The VIP social, we put a lot behind. It's a fun event. And this year, that's kind of what I was getting at. It's just the venue specifically this year is a very special place. So
yes, the venue, it'll be great. Outside of the VIP social, I'm really excited about our speaker lineup this year. Last year, we had an excellent speaker lineup. This year, excellent. You obviously, you pick all of the speakers. And so that's not anything that I have to do with it. So it's kind of fun to see the one piece of the summit that I don't have a hand in, to see how that turns out. And Joey Coleman, I would come for Joey Coleman alone, just to be in the same room as him. He's so amazing just to be around, so insightful and educational. I didn't even attend his workshop last year because I was working on getting something set up. I was still I love Joey Coleman. I've talked to him for 5 seconds. So
Joey's incredible, and his presence with people, and came to the VIP social. He talked to people. It was funny. I had a client or somebody coming to the summit last year, and they were like, "Should I add this on?" And I was like, "It really shouldn't be a question. Yes." Yes, Joey is phenomenal, and I'm so excited he's coming back this year.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky to have him for another round. And one thing I will say different from last year is from the beginning of ticket sales for Joey Coleman's workshop last year to where we were to July of last year versus where we are now with July. The room is easily doubled, if not tripled, just from ticket sales, just for his workshop. So I think that he showed what he can do last year, and I think it's going to be great.
I love it. For anybody listening where you're I just can't make it in person, Joey, we are paying to have that live streamed. So there is a way to participate digitally. I will say also, if you buy an in-person ticket, you get the digital ticket at the same time. So you can stream it back to your teams, back to your managers. It is so worth being there in person, but either way, don't miss it. Both for Joey and the rest of the summit. The rest of the summit we do have professionally recorded. It's not live stream just because that would be a really, really long live stream. Joey's doing a 4-hour workshop. The rest of the summit's 2 full days, but there is a way to participate if you can't be there live. So final question, paint the picture for me. The final day, we have closed the curtain on the summit. What would make it a just smashing success in your eyes in that moment, right as it ends?
Well, I only have 1 year to base this off of. So I will go with something that happened last year. But last year at the very end, you were the last person to speak and, made really exciting announcements. And I have a feeling that will happen again this year. There was a moment where I looked around, you had walked off stage and taken your hair extensions out already and fully un-Michelle'd in front of the entirety of the entire conference.
Okay, to be clear, I was still clothed. I just can't handle hair extensions. But I did immediately get off stage and take out my extensions and take off my shoes the second I was done speaking. And I still clearly get shade for it. But anyways, as you were saying.
There was just a moment where I looked around, and I'm not a super public emotional person, but I teared up because it was this really big moment of we've been working so hard, really just me and you with help from others, but really it was a 2-person job last year. There was so much communication and so much, everyone was talking and, excited. The energy in the room was a really energetic, excited energy, and everyone just, it felt really good. It felt like we did what we tried to do, and it was because everyone seemed to have so enjoyed, the event that we had put on. And so I think for me, this event is not for me, obviously. I really like to look around and see that the people that are there that are attending are enjoying themselves. So for me, I think it's just very simple. Outwardly, that the guests that decide to come and spend the summit with us, they get what they wanted out of it and that they enjoyed themselves. That would make me feel good on the outside. And then as far as like making sure that you and I have systems when it comes to the behind the scenes, another way that it's going to make me feel better, like I'll think that we did a good job, is like we wrap out the summit with systems in place going into next year that we didn't have the year before. Next year, I'm always looking to the next summit. So happy attendees, good systems.
And that is why you are the operations coordinator. Well, thank you for everything you did this year. Well, everything you did last year, everything you're doing this year. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a phenomenal event.
It's going to be great. I hope all of you that can come, I hope that you make it or at least buy digital tickets.
All right, everybody. Well, if you want to learn more about the DogCo Summit, you can go to dogcosummit.com. We will have in-person tickets for sale probably until the end of August, maybe mid-September, just depending on how full the room is. But we still have some room now, and we would really love to see you there, because if you haven't gathered from this podcast, it is something both Albany and I believe very deeply in and really want to drive a lot of impact to you personally and to your company by being there. All right, everyone, we'll catch you next time.